Tom Aspinall rose from contender to undisputed UFC heavyweight king, smashing records with every finish. Then a brutal double eye poke changed everything. Mid-reign, surgeries threatened his vision and his place at the top. Now speculation swirls. Could recovery setbacks force the champion to walk away, belt in hand, at the height of his power? Here is how the fate of a UFC heavyweight and his legacy hangs on what doctors decide next. Tom Aspinall's arrival in the UFC heavyweight division felt like a storm rolling in, sudden, violent, and impossible to ignore. From the moment he stepped into the octagon, the numbers told their own story. 8 wins, every single one a finish. Not a single judge's scorecard needed. No one in UFC history has ended fights faster. He averaged just 2 minutes and 18 seconds per bout. In a division built on power and patience, Aspinall brought speed and certainty. The highlight reel is a warning to anyone who stands across from him. Sergey Pavlovich, considered one of the most dangerous punchers alive, lasted just 69 seconds. On November 11, 2023, a single right hand sent Pavlovich to the canvas. The crowd barely had time to settle in. When Curtis Blades tried to avenge a previous injury win, Aspinall answered with an even quicker finish, 60 seconds. No hesitation, no wasted motion. The message was clear. No heavyweight is safe when Tom Aspinall is in the cage. Each victory became a statement. Alexander Volkov, a former title challenger, submitted in under 4 minutes. Andrei Arlovsky, a former champion, was stopped before the second round could even begin. Marcin Tybura finished in 73 seconds. Even Aspinall's UFC debut against Jake Collier ended in less than a minute. The belt, when it finally found its way around his waist, seemed almost overdue. Beyond the numbers, there is the way he fights. Calm outside the cage, ruthless inside it. No theatrics, no trash talk, just a focus on the job, and a habit of making even the most dangerous men in the sport look ordinary. The heavyweight title, for most, is a symbol of survival. For Aspinall, it became proof that dominance could look effortless. As the division watched, a new king ruled with speed, precision, and an unforgiving sense of finality. The question was not just who could beat Tom Aspinall, it was whether anyone could even survive the first round. But in a sport where everything can change in a moment, nothing is guaranteed. The image of Aspinall holding the belt, jaw set and eyes forward, became a symbol of both power and the fragility that shadows every champion. October 25th, 2025. The heavyweight championship bout in Abu Dhabi is stopped in a flash. Tom Aspinall, the champion everyone thought was invincible, stands blinking in the bright lights with both eyes burning. The replay is brutal. Cyril Gaines's outstretched fingers rake across Aspinall's face. Not once, but twice. The referee halts the fight at 4 minutes 35 seconds of the first round. The official result is no contest, but the real damage is only beginning to show. In the hours that follow, Aspinall is rushed from the arena to a local hospital. Medical scans confirm what the crowd could not see. Both eyes have suffered blunt trauma. The diagnosis is traumatic bilateral Brown syndrome. It is a rare mechanical injury, damage to the superior oblique tendon sheath that controls how the eye moves, especially inwards and upwards. For a heavyweight, it is a nightmare. Double vision, pain on movement, and a sudden inability to track what is coming at you. In a sport where a split second can end a career, Aspinall now faces the one opponent he cannot outpace, the limits of his own body. By late December, the news is public. Aspinall will need surgery on both eyes. The procedures are scheduled for mid-January 2026 at Optigra Eye Healthcare in London, a private hospital specialising in complex vision restoration. The Optigra team released a statement saying that after his highly publicised eye poke injury, Optigra's expert team is proud to have supported mixed martial arts fighter and UFC heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall, and that following his operation on both eyes, they continue the journey to get Tom's vision back to fighting fitness. The stakes are spelled out in cold, clinical terms. For a mixed martial arts champion to return, the road is not just about healing. It is about passing a series of unforgiving benchmarks. Visual acuity must reach 20/20 in both eyes. Forced duction tests, where an ophthalmologist physically checks for mechanical restriction, have to show full unrestricted movement in all directions. Any hint of double vision or lag in eye tracking means no clearance. There are no shortcuts. These are not just medical hurdles, they are the gatekeepers to Aspinall's entire career. No timeline is promised. The Optegra team speaks only of progress, not guarantees. In the background, whispers grow louder. How long before the UFC moves on? How many months before the belt is put on the line without its champion? But for now, everything rests on the results of a forced duction test, a chart on a clinic wall, and the verdict of a surgeon who may never have watched a single round of heavyweight mixed martial arts. The champion's future, once measured in knockouts and highlight reels, is now reduced to a series of numbers, scans, and silent examinations behind closed doors. The moment a champion is sidelined, the machinery of the fight world begins to grind. Athletic commissions issue their verdicts with the cold certainty of a judge's gavel. For Tom Aspinall, the ruling is clear: medical suspension, indefinite, pending the word of an ophthalmologist. Without an all clear, there is no license, no fight, no payday. The Nevada State Athletic Commission's rules are blunt, and anyone with eye trauma is barred from competition until a specialist confirms full recovery. Abu Dhabi's regulators, who oversaw the October 25th bout, follow the same playbook. The suspension is not a punishment, it is a firewall, protecting fighters from themselves and the sport from scandal. But time in the heavyweight division is measured differently. The UFC, eager to keep its biggest title in motion, watches the calendar. 6 months, sometimes 9 months, is the usual window before talk of an interim belt begins. There is no official policy written in stone, but precedent speaks louder than any press release. When Jiri Prochazka suffered an eye injury in late 2023, the UFC waited just over half a year before introducing an interim title. When John Jones tore his pectoral, he kept the belt for 15 months. Star power buys time, but not forever. Behind closed doors, the UFC communicates with managers and camps, requesting medical updates and pushing for timelines. The language is always careful. The official statement reads, "We are monitoring Tom's recovery. We look forward to his return to fighting fitness. No threats, no ultimatums, just the pressure of expectation." If a champion cannot defend within a year, history suggests the promotion will act. The interim belt is not just a placeholder, it is a warning shot. The division cannot wait forever, no matter how dominant the champion. The rules are designed to be impartial, but the reality is anything but. Every week that passes without clearance tightens the grip. The champion's belt may be safe for now, but the clock is ticking and the business of fighting never stops. A championship belt in the UFC is more than leather and gold. It's a promise of legacy, of history, of a place among the immortals. For Tom Aspinall, that promise hangs in the balance, caught between the hunger to compete and the reality of what his body can withstand. The question isn't just whether he can fight again, but whether he should. Aspinall has always spoken honestly about the limits he sets for himself. "I hope to retire around 35 or 36, he said, in a quiet moment, the words almost at odds with the violence of his day job. "I don't want to be fighting into my 40s. Once the love for fighting fades, that is the moment to step away." That line cuts deeper now with every day of recovery, every uncertain medical report. The possibility of walking away at the height of his powers by choice, not by force, feels both defiant and tragic. Ethicists who study athlete welfare see this moment as a crossroads. One interviewed for this story put it plainly: "There's a line between courage and recklessness. When a fighter's vision is at risk, the duty to protect long-term health outweighs any championship. The calculation is cold, but the stakes are real. A single misjudged punch, one blind spot, and the cost could be permanent." Stipe Miocic, a man who knows the weight of the heavyweight belt, once reflected on what it means to let go. "Champions aren't remembered for how long they held the title," he said. "They're remembered for knowing when to walk away with their health and dignity." For Aspinall, the decision isn't just personal, it's historical. To vacate the belt now would change the shape of the division and rewrite the story of a reign that felt unstoppable. But the belt, for all its glory, cannot see for him, cannot heal what's broken. The choice is his, and the cost, whatever he decides, will echo beyond the cage. Right now, the heavyweight throne stands on uncertain ground. Every champion faces the moment where ambition collides with the limits of flesh and bone. As Aspinall weighs recovery against legacy, the fight outside the cage becomes his most defining test. The question is, how much is greatness truly worth? Share your thoughts below.